live. Do you guys want to start? I'll give you. Okay, hi everybody. My name is Mary Van Dyke. I am a junior here at Carroll. I'm from Bainbridge Island, Washington, which is just a ferry ride from downtown Seattle, if any of you guys are familiar. I am studying nursing and minoring in Spanish. I'm also a leader of our outdoor program here at Carroll, so that's one of my hobbies. Yeah, that's me.
And I'm Amelia Schuver. I'm also a junior nursing student. I'm from Portland, Oregon. And I like to hike around Helena, go downtown to all the different coffee shops. And yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Noah. I am a sophomore from Billings, Montana. I'm studying biology, and I just love basically anything related to sports or outdoors, and I'm super excited for March Madness.
Nice. So I think we're going to go around and just talk a little bit about why we decided to come to Carroll and kind of what was the decision process for that. So I'll start with that. So the main reason why I chose Carroll was because of the nursing program, first and foremost. So I was kind of looking at different schools around the country, mostly closer in the Pacific Northwest. And I hadn't really ever heard of Carroll. I had never been to Montana before, but I got a bunch of mail, and it was kind of detailing the nursing program. It emphasized a lot, and it also emphasized their abroad programs here at Carroll, and that was something that really piqued my interest. So it just kind of kept cropping up in the mail, email, and stuff like that. And so I had a little break in February of my senior year, and so my parents and I decided to drive out. Why not? And just check out the school. So we made a little tour schedule and kind of came out here in February, and I got to tour the school, and it was I was really blown away by just like how friendly everybody was on campus. I feel like that's kind of a common thing you'll hear about Carroll. Is everyone's really, really nice, and like the atmosphere and dynamic between students, to students, students to faculty is just really welcoming. And the professors are, since coming to Carroll, I've been able to experience that the professors are really, really special here. And also, I kind of mentioned before, I really like the outdoors, and the mountains are just, you got a 360 view of the mountains on campus. So that was something that was really exciting to me. We just drove like 5 minutes away and did this huge hike on Mount Helena, and you get to see a really pretty view. And so kind of the outdoorsy opportunities along with the strong academics was really what sold me on it to come to Carroll.
Great. I was also looking for nursing schools in the Portland and kind of Pacific Northwest area. But so Carroll was kind of already on my radar from a few of my teachers in high school, and a softball teammate actually came out here. So I kind of already had the name of Carroll in the back of my mind. And then I heard that they had a nursing program, which piqued my interest even more. And then, like Mary was saying, just all of the mailing and stuff just kept me looking at Carroll. So I finally decided to come out here during my spring break in April, my senior year, after I had gotten accepted into Carroll. And just the second I stepped on campus, it was so beautiful. Everyone was really friendly, and our tour guides were great. You know, everyone just knew everyone, which I liked. And then it really seemed that the professors were passionate about what they were teaching and the success of their students, which really stood out to me. And then also another thing that stood out to me about the nursing program was just the ability to have hands-on experience right off the bat. So our nursing students here really get into the clinical setting and are working at St. Peter's Hospital our sophomore year, which is the first year of the program, which I think is really unique to Carroll. And it just helps you build your skills and help you build your communication, and really overall just makes you a better nurse with that lengthy time in the hospital. And so I'm really glad that I made this decision. It's so beautiful out here in Montana with all of the mountains and the wildlife, so it's super easy to just walk outside and go on a hike or go fly fishing. And I was also super interested in all of the arts that Helena had to offer as well, so ceramics specifically kind of caught my attention. So we have the world-class Archie Bray out here in Helena, so they have great places to go and do art or ceramics and pottery, and also just go to art galleries. So I love it out here.
That's awesome. Well, I was originally started thinking about Carroll a little bit because my older brother went here. But senior year, I was looking at a lot of other universities, and my attitude was kind of like, well, my older brother went here, so if I like go, then I'm just gonna be copying him or whatever. But so I was looking at some other schools and wasn't super excited about any of them. And then my brother was like, hey, why don't you come visit me? He's like, when are you gonna come visit me? He's like, I miss you, man. I was like, all right, yeah, we'll just go have some bro time. And I think secretly he was devising a plan to get me on campus, and that's all it took for me was giving Carroll a chance. And I knew I was interested in biology too, and Carroll's a great school for that. So yeah, once I got on campus, I think it's just such a beautiful campus, and that was a big deal for me. And then also just the location of it and the vibe that Helena has. The cool thing about it is that there is like so much support from the Helena community for Carroll College. And I went to a football game while I visited, and that was just like so much fun. And everybody like came out. There was like a tailgate and everything. I was like, this is actually like awesome. And got to get downtown too. And the cool thing is that downtown is just like right across the street from Carroll, and which was super nice because I didn't have a car coming in freshman year. So that was also like a really big deal for me too.
Nice. So if you guys have any questions for us, we would love to answer them. So you can contact us on Twitter through the hashtag Carroll Hangouts. That's CARROLL Hangouts. Also, you can comment down below on the YouTube, and we can get it that way. So we'd love to answer your questions.
In the meantime, we will talk some more about our experience here at Carroll. So we'll talk a little bit about like Helena itself and like what are things to do in Helena, around Helena. So I think, Noah, do you have a car now or no?
I still have a car.
Yeah, okay. None of us have cars, so that's kind of unique, but we're all doing fine. And so there's like a lot of things, that's a perfect segue, because there's a lot of things to do right downtown, and like Noah was saying, it's right across the street. There's even like a little pedestrian tunnel that goes under the street if you don't want to wait for the crosswalk. And so I think my favorite places in Helena mostly revolve around food is what I was gonna say. We've already talked about this, but our favorite, or like earlier before this, but our favorite like diner is this 24-hour diner called Shelley's, and it's just wonderful. It's like the best thing to do either like for brunch or something like that, or even just like late at night. You can go anytime. My favorite thing to get is a sausage breakfast burrito. It's really good, and they're like yay big, so you can just save it for a couple extra meals for leftovers. Really good. Bagel Co. is another place that's really good, and they make like breakfast sandwiches on bagels, and they're super good. Another thing though, let's see, not food related, I'll try to get off that. There's some really awesome hiking and like biking really close to campus. So we have like Mount Helena, which is our big city park, which is really close, about probably 10 minutes away, even probably closer by car. And so there's several different like trail systems on Mount Helena itself. So there's one that's like super steep, the Power Line Trail. If you really want to get a good workout in, you just hike that all the way up. Or there's kind of a more meandering trail if you want to do some cross-country skiing or just walking when it's not snowy. And then Mount Ascension is the mountain just adjacent to Mount Helena, and that's got some really good like trail running trails and mountain biking trails and stuff. So that's also really fun. It's really nice that it's just right in our backyard too. Those are probably my favorite spots.
One of my favorite places to go is the Saturday market that they have downtown. So they will have that at the beginning of the year, usually until October, and then it starts up again in April. So they have a lot of vendors come from outside of the Helena community and more in the rural areas, and then also from in Helena as well, just selling like their soaps or their lotions, and it's super nice to get fresh produce from there, as well as just crafts, and they have awesome food carts every once in a while. So it's a great place to go, and usually it's packed with Carroll students because everyone's trying to find something to do Saturday morning. So it's a great opportunity to get outside, walk around, see new things. Let's see, I also really like, just downtown itself, there's so many great like little mom and pop shops, little coffee stores, and everyone in the Helena community is really supportive of Carroll students. So anywhere you go and you just mention that you're a Carroll student, they'll give you like a discount, or a lot of the places will even hire Carroll students. And it's just, they're great because they're understanding of your school schedule, so they'll work your hours around that. And they understand that you're a busy student and education comes first, so they'll kind of be understanding if you have to change your schedule last minute or if something comes up. And they're really great people in the community as well.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think, probably one of my favorite parts. I really like Bert and Ernie's. That's a really good restaurant downtown. That's a really good restaurant to take the fam if they're ever in town. That's just always stands out to me as like one of the like poster restaurants for Helena, which is just like great place. As far as Shelley's goes, and I have definitely been there at like 10 a.m. on like a Saturday morning. I've also been there at like 2 a.m. on like a Wednesday night before a test. When you're just in the library with all your friends.
Either way, Shelley's will welcome you with open arms.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. You're just like studying in the library with your friends, and then everybody's like done studying for the night, but you're like super hungry, so somebody's like, Shelley's, and you're like, yes. And then you just go. It's like so much fun. Also love the Carousel, which is just like right across the street and everything. They have like great ice cream, and I mean, I might be too old for the Carousel, but I don't really see it that way. So I just love going on it anyways.
No discrimination.
Yeah. I'm also a fan of the Painted Pot downtown. That's a great place to paint some pottery, which is something I like to do to kind of just like relax and let that creative aspect of me take over. But yeah.
Nice. That's good. Another one I forgot, there's a really great independent movie theater called the Myrna Loy that's downtown, and they play some really good movies. So I didn't complete all of them, but I had a goal of watching like all of the Oscar-nominated movies one year. I watched like 2 of them, but 2 of them were playing at the Myrna Loy, and so that was really fun to go. It's like a really cute little, like nice little theater to go to. And then there's also a big movie theater, actually. I forgot to mention that. Just right across the street. And they do like discounted movie nights for Carroll students. So I think Tuesday nights the tickets are only $5 for Carroll students. So that's always fun to kind of pop over there and see what's playing. Yeah. Okay. So that was kind of Helena specific, and then like Montana specific. So like, what are our favorite places in Montana? So I've been lucky enough to go on a lot of really, really cool backpacking trips through our like outdoor program here. And so those are probably my favorite places that I've been. So I've been to like outside Big Sky, Montana. So that was a like probably 3-hour drive, I think, away from Helena. And then we went and did a couple, like 2 nights, 3 days backpacking out there. That was really cool. We did some backpacking out in the Crazy Mountain Range, which was probably 2 hours away. That was really, really fun. And then Missoula is really close. Missoula and Bozeman are like the biggest cities and Billings, but they're the closest biggest cities in Montana. So they're about an hour and a half away. And so Amelia and I went to a concert in Missoula just this past fall. That was really fun, really easy to get there. Yeah, I think those are my favorite places. There's also some lakes really close by to campus. So there's Hauser Lake, which is probably 20 minutes away, and then Canyon Ferry is a little farther away. And those ones are really fun to go to in the summertime when it's hot out and stuff. You can go hang out with your friends and just sunbathe a little bit. There's like a secret rope swing off the side of the road you can find if you get the instructions. But it's really fun. There's some really cool outdoorsy spots close by.
I really like the national parks that we have here in Montana. So in Helena, we're about equidistant from Glacier National Park and Yellowstone National Park, which are just both beautiful places to go and visit. Super easy to get to both locations. They're both probably about 3 or so hours away, so not too bad. And they're just so beautiful. Glacier has a lot of different hiking and camping places that you can go. In Yellowstone, you can see all the hot springs and really cool buffalo, and it's just a great place to be able to go and even do a weekend trip with your friends because it's so close and easy. And then for spring break, people typically do like longer stays in those locations, and because it's so close, it's pretty easy to be able to do. You just get like a pretty cheap Airbnb with a few of your friends, so it's cost efficient and lots of fun. But yeah, those are probably my favorite places in Montana.
Yeah, I think my favorite place in Montana, I just feel like every area of Montana just has like so much character that's different than other areas. So like Butte is one of my favorite places to go actually. There was St. Patrick's Day a couple days ago, and they have like a huge St. Patrick's Day celebration, which is cool. Hamilton, Montana, that's like a little hidden gem that's close to Missoula. They have like great golfing and like great restaurants there. That's just like a small little place in Montana that's like beautiful. Yeah, honestly, there's just so many places you can find that you might not even be like looking for a place to be or to really like, but like there are so many hidden gems everywhere.
Yeah, that kind of just reminded me when you were saying like hidden gems. Just like there's these little bars just like along the road when you haven't seen people in so long. And then there's one called, it's like I went out on this hike with some buddies, and then we were coming back, and there's this burger joint and bar called in York, Montana, and so it's got these huge Mondo burgers. They're so good, and you're just like have been hiking for a couple hours, and you come back and you just like slam down your money and get whatever burger you want. This is huge, greasy, delicious things.
And the walls are just lined with dollar bills that have been signed by people. So you like try to find your buddy's dollar bill, and
it's so fun.
You like try to call them, but there's no service to try to find their dollar bill. So you just start looking around for hours on end.
Yeah, it's super fun. Yeah, just going out on like drives around. Montana is so pretty, especially if there's like a sunset or something really, really pretty going on. It's just beautiful here anyway, so it's kind of nice. Okay, so next question is that we're going to answer is, what is your favorite part about being at Carroll College? So I've kind of been exhausting this topic already, but I am my favorite part about Carroll College is something called the camp program, and it's a student-led organization that we have on campus. My favorite part is a student-led organization on campus that stands for, it's called CAMP, and it stands for Carroll's Adventure and Mountaineering Program. And so it's like the student-led organization where there's student leaders that are involved, and they come up with different ideas and different events for students to go on. And so we've done we just came back from a spring break trip. We went down to Moab, Utah. That was really fun. But we do anything from like just day hikes to right now in the winter we're doing cross-country skiing and snowshoeing and like classic skiing, skate skiing. And sledding too, if you want to. And then they do like fly fishing and ice fishing and outdoor climbing, floating rivers, have stand-up paddleboarding, all sorts of really fun stuff. So that's my favorite, definitely my favorite thing about Carroll, because it really helps me. I don't have a car, so it really helps me to like get out and enjoy the majesty of Montana and stuff. Do we want to answer the question?
Yeah, so we
Okay,
actually got a question. So we were asked, did you guys receive scholarships to attend?
I did.
I did as well.
Yeah, Carroll is like so good at finding
Isn't
money.
it 99% of students? 99% of students receive some type of aid to come to Carroll, which is something that's like really important about just like Carroll in general, and that's something that we take really seriously, is kind of helping our students to be able to come to Carroll. So I think there's a bunch of different scholarships, and there's more information on the website if you want to look at it, but there's like merit scholarships that kind of break down based off of like your GPA and then your test scores. And then there's also other scholarships for like students who are from Montana, students who maybe go to a Catholic high school. There's those scholarships available too.
Yeah, what really helped me too coming in was different like really small scholarships that I applied to, and it turned out that a lot of people, like basically nobody even applied for those ones. So like sometimes they were like for $500 or like $1,000 or whatever, but like those all add up like so much, which is like great.
Yeah. Carroll also does this great thing where if you have other siblings that are going to other private schools, then Carroll will take that into consideration when they're giving scholarships or helping with financial aid, because they recognize that a private education is very helpful, and so they'll take that into consideration when you're paying for Carroll as well. We also got another question that was asking, are there any fraternities or sororities on or off campus? So Carroll actually does not have Greek life. A lot of our students will live on campus, so our students live on campus freshman and sophomore year, but they have the opportunity to live on or off campus in different residence halls or apartments their junior or senior year. Yeah, great question.
Yeah, thanks B. Pearsall. Appreciate your involvement.
All right, so Mary kind of touched on about what her favorite part of being at Carroll College is, so we'll go back to that question. My favorite part of being at Carroll College really just has to do with the community of people that are here. Everyone is so kind, and I don't think I walk anywhere on campus without seeing a friend or running into someone that I know. And even if you don't know someone, people will always greet you with a smile. And a big thing here on campus too is holding the door for other people, which I know is a really small thing, but it makes the biggest difference when, you know, someone takes the time out of their day to be kind towards you by just the simplest act. I've even once like wiped out on the ice and like had 3 or 4 people stop to make sure I was okay. And like I feel like people would just walk right past me at bigger schools, or even if I was anywhere else but Carroll. And so I think the community and the people here at Carroll is really what sold me and made me come here, just because I wanted to be a part of that family.
Yeah, that's awesome. Probably one of my favorite things about being at Carroll, I live in St. Charles Hall this year. Last year I lived in Guadalupe Hall, but I love St. Charles Hall. Guadalupe Hall was so fun though, because all the freshmen are there, and everybody basically leaves their door open. So you can just like pop in, even if you don't know these people, and like start playing like FIFA on Xbox with them or something. And like that was like super helpful for me my freshman year, getting to know fellow classmates and make friends like really quickly, because there was just such a like welcoming vibe there, and that was like really important for me too.
Yeah, Guad is awesome. Like it's basically like a 9-month-long summer camp where you're living with all of your best friends. Everyone lives right next to each other, so it's super easy to do those things, like just walk next door, walk down the hallway, right to your friend's room to just start hanging out for the day.
Oh, Guad. Good memories. So fun.
Yeah, so fun.
Okay, so next question that we have on the list is, what is something you wish you would have known or had been better prepared for when you started college? Okay, I think something that well, this is Carroll specific, so I'll start with that. Something that I didn't really realize about Carroll was, and I didn't really realize it until I I've been going here for a couple of years is just, and Amelia touched on this a little bit, but it's about how hands-on the classes are here at Carroll. And that's something that I didn't really realize was as unique as it is. And I really appreciate it. It's been just crucial for my, academics and my learning and stuff. So Amelia mentioned earlier that in the nursing program, we start our clinical rotations the very first semester of the nursing program. So your fall semester of sophomore year. And I know other friends that go to other schools and they're in their nursing program, and it's pretty common to not have those clinicals start until spring semester of junior year, which is like the year I'm in. That's what I am in right now. And so I didn't realize that I was going to have an entire year and a half of clinical experience on some of my other friends who go to other schools. And just like that hands-on education is really carried out in all sorts of different departments. So like for the bio, if you're going kind of a pre-med route, it's really important for those students to get hands-on experience with like shadowing and volunteer work and stuff as soon as they can, really, because you need to rack up a certain amount of hours to be in good standings for applying to medical school. And then if you're looking at like health science or something, and maybe physical therapy or occupational therapy, the professors really understand that it's really important for students to get like shadowing experience and hands-on experience. And so they'll go out of their way to vouch for students to be able to get them into some sort of shadowing program or work out some sort of contract even with a hospital to allow Carroll students to work and get that experience. So that's something that I was really didn't realize about Carroll, and that I'm really happy that is at Carroll. I don't know if that exactly answered the question, but that's something that I didn't know, didn't even know that I needed to know, and now I know. So there we go.
This is kind of a hard question because, you want to say that you felt confident about going to college and say that you were fully prepared.
No one is.
But yeah, truly no one is. With the nursing specifically, like Mary and I were thrown into anatomy and physiology right off the bat, which is a very rigorous course as is. And so we kind of had to learn how to be as successful with our study habits as possible. And I mean, I was the kind of student throughout high school where I was, just fine, and I never really had to put in the study hours before. Just had to show up to class, pay attention, and take notes, and I would do fine. And so I think being thrown into anatomy and physiology was kind of a shock. And so it really made me, I guess, just like more aware of how important it is to study and like put in the multiple hours, and not just do a cram session right before the exam, because that never really helps. It's finding those little times in between the day. Even if you don't have a test for another 2 weeks, it's just going to class, taking notes, and then getting back to your room and then looking over your notes for the day to kind of just like refresh your brain and go over that, to really help it solidify in your mind. So I think I learned that really fast, and it was really integral that I did learn that because it helped me to be successful as possible in that class. But I know a lot of times it can be difficult for people to really catch on to that right away. So I think that's definitely a helpful hint to just find what works for you, whether it's flashcards or Quizlet or talking through the notes or taking recordings of the lecture and re-listening to them. Just finding what works for you and then going through the motion just about every day can help you be as successful as possible. Yes.
Yeah, coming in, I felt almost like I was over-prepared. Like I had so much stuff that I basically didn't even end up using, which was kind of funny. But something I wish somebody had told me was to set 3 alarms the first day of college classes ever, because I did not set 3 alarms. I set 1 alarm, and I had a 9 a.m. and for some reason that alarm did not go off. So I woke up 3 minutes before my first college class ever. So if you can picture me like a year and a half ago, okay? freshman,
Fresh-faced.
little freshman, didn't
Full of life.
yeah, full of life, yeah. my bed was lofted in guad, so I woke up 3 minutes before class. I realized, like, I have 3 minutes to get to my first class, which was in St. Charles Hall. So I freaked out, jumped down from my lofted bed, like, as quickly as I could. Woke up my roommate, who started, like, freaking out that I was, like freaking out. I grabbed my book bag, put some slides on, and then sprinted up Guad Hill in slides to my first class, and ended up making it. And my professor was, like, super nice and everything, so it was, like, fine. But that was, like, definitely a shock to me. It was like, wow, welcome to college.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, time management is definitely, that seems to be the prevailing theme here. It's a balance, and I haven't mastered it yet.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Still a work in progress.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so next question that we have is, so did you have any concerns about Carroll College or just college in general? And so actually for me, I definitely did about Carroll. I was not completely like, this is the school for me, like I have no hesitations, let's go. I was pretty nervous about it. The thing I was most concerned about was the size, actually, and I think that is sort of a common concern for some students. I went to a high school, especially maybe students from kind of a more metropolitan area. So I'm from, like, Seattle area, and so my high school was about 1,200 students. Carroll College, for reference, is about 1,400 to 1,500 students, pretty much 1,500 students. And so that was something I was definitely concerned about. I was like, this is the same size as my high school, basically. Like, I don't know how that's gonna be. I just didn't know. But and I had other friends who were going to, like, state schools, and they're going to these big, huge schools with 50,000 students, and I was like, I have no idea if I'm making the right choice here. Like, I think I am. But so if anybody has those concerns, and obviously your experience is your own, but for me personally, this was actually, like, a really great choice for me. And I didn't, I wasn't super sure about it at first, but because I was afraid that, I don't know, that was going to be too small and I was going to be, like, stifled or something. But it really has done the opposite, I think, because this small, Carroll intentionally stays this small. Like, we keep our recruitment a little bit, like, more, well, I don't know. The school is really meant to be kind of a small school because it allows for the relationships between students and professors to be really, really wholesome and really meaningful. So in the nursing program, there are 44 spots in each grade. And so usually it's around 40 students that are in the nursing program for each grade. And that allows for some really, really helpful one-on-one time with your professor if you need it. And I think that goes, that's kind of something that's common throughout most of the departments on campus, or all of the departments on campus, is that our professors are really invested in their students and invested in their students' futures. And they, because it's a small school, they know their students and they know what their goals are, and they know, if they're thinking about going to grad school, or if they're, if they're going to need a job or like a recommendation letter or something like that. And they, the professors always have their offices open for students to come and ask any questions if they have any concerns, or just get to know the students better. And so that's something that's really special. And then also another great thing about it being small that I didn't really realize was going to be so nice is that, well, this wasn't really an issue for me, but if you're a little bit more reserved or a little bit shy, it's really nice that you don't have to, like, really seek somebody out. You're gonna run into them again because Carroll is not that big. And so, like, if you're concerned, you're like, oh, I don't know, like, making friends makes me really nervous. Like, I have no idea how I'm gonna do that. in college, because sometimes like if you're from a small town or something like that, you're with all these people for 20 years, 18 years, and so you're bound to make friends just by proximity. But in college, it's like a little bit maybe more nerve-wracking to make friends. And so I think something at Carroll, not only do they put on really fun events for students to get involved in, and then you can meet people who like the same things as you, but also you'll kind of pass by people, and I've made friends that way. Just like we always pass by at the same time every day, or we sit next to each other in this one class, and then finally you're like, hey, want to hang out? Or like, what's your name? Or something like that. And then you get to know people that way. So I think that at a bigger school, at least for me personally, it would have been harder for me to kind of find my little close-knit group of buddies that I have found here. And so it's a valid concern. So I hear you if anybody's concerned about that. And then just from my experience, it's been a really, really good choice for me. So I think hopefully that kind of sheds some light on that subject.
Awesome. Yeah, my biggest concern coming to Carroll was definitely the roommate situation. I did not know anyone coming here, and I was definitely one of the more shy, reserved people in high school. And so I kind of wanted that out-of-state experience just to like build myself as a person, but also loved Carroll because of the nursing program and all that they had to offer. And so I was so nervous about doing the random roommate. But when I got accepted, they sent me a survey, and I basically just filled out what I was interested in, what hobbies I had, if I stayed up late or woke up early or listened to music when I studied, if I was messy or clean. And then I later came to find out that we actually have a committee of people who take all of these surveys. They sit down for an afternoon and they pair all of these people together, just based on their interests and how how compatible they think that these two people would be. So let's see. It was probably July of after graduation of my senior year. And I get this email from Carroll saying that I have been assigned a roommate in Guadalupe Hall, room 372, with Mary Van Dyke. And had never met her before, and found out that she was from just outside of Seattle. And I was actually working in Denver at the time, so did we add each other on Snapchat first? We added each other on Snapchat or something.
Oh, memories. I forgot about
it. We started Snapchatting each other, and we were both really nervous and like worried about what we looked like. And
we got right on Instagram. I was like, oh, she's normal.
Oh yeah, definitely did a little bit of stalking at first. It was totally fine. But it just was such a blessing in disguise, because I'm so glad that I went the random route and didn't try to find someone last minute to live with, because Mary has been one of the greatest people I've met here on campus, and we're going to be living together for 4 years next year. Wow. So it really does work out. It works out for a lot of people. And, we have people on campus here that aren't going to let you live in an uncomfortable situation in the rarest case that it doesn't work out. So they're going to help you either find a new roommate or find a single or find a whole new living situation. So if that's something that you're worried about, I would just tell you to fill out the form as honestly as possible, because that's what's going to be the most beneficial to you, to really find that right person that you are compatible with.
It's like eHarmony.
It's like eHarmony for roommates. Yeah, it's really awesome. It works out. And they really have it down to a science, I think. On the committee. It worked out great. So yeah, that was my biggest concern, and I'm glad that I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Well, Mary isn't one of the greatest people that I've met, but I'm glad that worked out for you.
That's fine.
No, I'm just kidding. You are. You're awesome. Yeah, but concerns I had coming in though really was making the transition between high school classes and college classes. And I really knew coming in that I would be probably challenged a lot more with my major than any of the high school classes I had taken. So I was pretty nervous about that. What I didn't anticipate was the level of support that I would get. So freshman year was hard It was challenging, but the level of support that I got from my peers and my professors was just like incredible. From my peers, it was great to have people that I knew in my major that I could study with on a regular basis for tests, and we could bounce questions off each other. And if I had a question about something, I could just like pop down the hall and be to somebody else's room in 2 seconds. And that's like really, that was really important for me. Also, the level of support I got from professors was incredible. And that's just how it is at Carroll. Professors really care about how you're doing in a class. Like for instance, tonight I have a chemistry test. So this morning I was in my chemistry professor's office for 3 hours working on problems that he gave me. And I worked on problems that I'm probably gonna maybe see on the test tonight. And that's just like such a huge resource that you're probably just not gonna see at bigger universities. So just like that personal touch and that one-on-one time that you can get, that just makes all the difference.
That's awesome. Nice.
Well, we are going to wrap up. We just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Please, if you have any additional questions, you can still send them to the hashtag Carroll Hangouts, and we can answer them next week as well. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to always reach out to the admissions office at Carroll College.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks.